Did you really think I was going to talk about whether or not Bruce Lee was a Christian? Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 214. This is the one about Bruce and the Tao, Jesus and the Bible. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you are catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you will see stuff like this. The ever popular 4 tenets of Jeet Kune Do t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, hoodie, coffee mug, all that good stuff. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share the video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. I think anyone who thinks deeply about the human condition would easily see a commonality between the ways that people treat major personalities, whether living or deceased. People who came to Earth with a message and lived lives of tremendous influence, and even if they were in different industries, right? They lived these lives of influence along similar lines. That doesn't make sense, Dwight. Anyhow, you'll get it as I continue. So when I put up the preview postcard, the comments under that postcard kind of revealed to me who has their thinking caps on and who chooses a different kind of headwear. So for a smart person, perhaps even a Jeet Kune Do outsider, a cursory examination of Bruce Lee's, let's call it Jeet Kune Do adventure, right, would reveal immediate commonalities between his life and that of Jesus Christ. Both charismatic thought leaders who railed against the established order, Bruce Lee and classical martial arts, Jesus and the classical traditions of religion of his time. Both their movements grew even more popular after their deaths in their early 30s. Their messages were both their messages were propelled by sometimes just as charismatic, devoted disciples, and both of their teachings, or the teachings of both personalities, evolved into different branches or camps. So all of that, all of what I just stated is obvious, perhaps almost painfully so, right? And can be taken at face value. What I'm talking about goes a little bit deeper, and even so, is readily obvious to some, depending on your choice of headwear. Both Bruce Lee and Jesus have books which are considered central to their teachings, and in both cases, these books were posthumously written or compiled by the aforementioned devoted followers. And just as we have old school and new school preachers and teachers of the Bible, we have old school approach and new school approach to Jeet Kune Do. We have differing accounts of the same period in Jesus's life, written from the perspective of 4 apostles. And you're going to tell me that that's not like interpretations on the content of what Bruce Lee taught during his lifetime, right? But again, even all of that is readily evident, and especially if you've been thinking about Jeet Kune Do for a little while. What's not as evident and requires perhaps greater scrutiny is the similarity of the dogmatic approach, let's say, the similarity between the dogmatic approach in Jeet Kune Do and in Christianity. So in both instances, we have devoted followers who treat the Tao and the Bible as inerrant, right? Containing everything that one would ever need for both fields of study, without ever needing to look at anything else that might be contemporary of the two texts, anything else that might have been complementary to the two texts, or even anything else that might have been contrary to the two texts. Have you ever heard anybody say, yeah, man, you know, every time I open the Tao, I find something new, or I get a deeper perspective, you know, on a topic or a subject matter? Well, haven't you heard somebody say the same thing about the Bible, right? Both teachings also suffer, if we can use that word, from the different interpretations of the central teachings. So the Bible, there's the true meaning of Satan, aka Satan, right? So there's different interpretations of that. There's the mistranslation of the phrase among us versus the phrase within us. There's the true definition and meaning of the words sin and or repent. And then in the Tao, there's the different interpretations of the roles played by boxing, fencing, and Wing Chun. What's actually meant by the daily decrease, what's really meant by the idea, and these are just examples, there's many more. What's really meant by the idea that Jeet Kune Do is a boat used to cross the river. So just in case you still don't get it, we have martial arts and we have belief in God. We have different martial arts methods and different versions of belief in God, different religions. But all of the martial arts methods preach self-defense, and all of the different religions preach redemption. And they all have warring factions among themselves, right? So among martial arts methods, you have the different warring factions, but then even within a particular method, you have warring factions. So there's warring factions amongst and warring factions within. But at their highest levels, isn't it interesting that religion teaches harmony among men, just as Bruce Lee taught that styles divide men? And so ultimately, Bruce Lee sought to bring understanding through a deeper knowledge of self, which requires, of course, the use of personal responsibility in order to achieve personal truth. So, two things to consider as we wrap up here. You know the parable of the talents? 3 servants, one was given 5 talents and he went out and put them to work and he increased the 5 to 10. Another was given 2 talents and he put them to work and he increased the 2 to 4. And then the third servant was given 1 talent and he hid it for safekeeping, buried it. And he ended up having that talent taken away. So see if you can find a Jeet Kune Do meaning in said parable. Now, since we've been talking about religion, let's talk a little science here, right? Since many people like to throw around the word science, you know, when it comes to Jeet Kune Do, and you know, there's the thing about Jeet Kune Do being scientific street fighting and all that. So here's the thing about scientists. Scientists understand that observations are rarely complete, that interpretations often vary. Among scientists, there's usually considerable room for discussion and debate. And debate is as important to science as consensus is to politics, right? We're not going to touch the politics thing one day, not today. But debate needs to be based on observations, not on opinions. And that's important, especially when it comes to Jeet Kune Do. In science, there's always more to learn. And that is what makes science interesting and challenging. And that is what makes pursuing science fun, let's call it. right? Okay, that's enough talk for today, Dwight. So let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all I got to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. I am traveling this weekend up to Central Florida, my annual workshop in Crystal River. So there will be no Jeet Kune Do dialogues this Friday, which is the 11th. But on the 18th, next Friday, Paulo Gien Rubio has agreed to come back to the Jeet Kune Do dialogues and interview me again, but this time with technical questions. So we might actually set up the camera a little bit differently so that I can, Glenn will probably be with me. And so my answers to his questions will be technical demonstrations or something. I'm pretty sure that's the direction we're headed in. All right, so please tune in for that. Remember, if you're interested in the upcoming program, Jeet Kune Do Success Strategies, email me, jkdrebel@gmail with JKDSS in the subject line. Today's a purple day. There we go. All right. So I'll see some of you next Wednesday for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, and hopefully next Friday for the next episode of the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon.